Chicago fast becoming one of the most bike-friendly cities as more biking lanes and paths are being built to accommodate this growing sport. But with more biking comes more injuries, and those injuries are costing billions of dollars annually. So joining us this morning with some advice and tips is Dr. Gregory Nicholson with Rush Orthopaedics, and it truly is becoming a big biking city.
It is. Chicago probably has more biker commuters than any other city in the country just because of the layout of the city. Also, Mayor Daley gave us those dedicated bike paths.
Right.
We're also going green. It's a great way to get around. Cars are tough in the city, so there's this interplay between bikes and motorists that we have to reconcile.
And then, so doctor, you come in when people are getting injured. What are some of the most common bike injuries you see that you have to treat?
Well, I'm a shoulder and elbow specialist, an upper extremity specialist, so when a bike has an accident, you're going to go down. The helmet's incredibly important. I can fix your collarbone, but if you hit your head hard, that's hard to fix.
But is that what you see the most, is the collarbones? And,
we see upper extremity injuries, collarbone fractures, separated shoulders, elbow fractures, wrist fractures, hand fractures, and we've even had people who work for us had a very serious hand injury, and one of my partners actually broke his collarbone. Both of those people needed surgery, and those were bike accidents.
Now, you would think one of your colleagues would know better, right? But it's hard. It can happen to anybody. But there are some things that people can do to cut their risk down. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So the first thing you want to talk about is equipment, right?
A helmet is absolutely essential. Why? Just like we said, we can fix your musculoskeletal injury, but a head injury, you may be a different person. Also, it's an awareness issue. It's an awareness from the motorist and the bicyclist. That half the injuries are right-of-way injuries, a confusion between the motorist and the cyclist. Now, on a bike path, we're twice as less likely to be injured. So that interface, now we have bike paths, but they're painted on the road.
Right.
But when you are on a street, you're twice as likely to be injured, and that is a dooring incident.
Yeah, tell everybody what dooring is. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but
you're riding down the street along a line of parked cars, and suddenly the door opens. There's no place to go, and you're going to get hurt.
You know what, though? I have to say, since they've added those bike paths, it's very confusing because as a motorist, sometimes you forget they're there, especially when they were first put in, and that's how a lot of these things can happen. So your advice is to stay away from the urban driving if you can and try to stick to the bike paths.
True, but as a cyclist, sometimes you can't. So I think it's incumbent on the cyclist and us as motorists to know these injuries are on the rise, and we've got to do something because our community here in Chicago is very bike-based now.
Absolutely. Okay, and you brought some other things. So why are things like, you know, the clothing? Why is this important? You brought some glasses and you brought some gloves. Why does this all make a difference?
Well, that's the second category of injury, overuse injury. You're on the bike a lot. Proper footwear to stay on the bike, gloves so that you don't get nerve injuries, and because you're always on there. Proper eyewear, dust and dirt coming up into your face may make you do something, a quick move. Proper bike attire to help saddle sores, so to speak, to prevent them.
When you say proper bike attire, you're talking about the tops and the
bike shorts especially.
Because those actually do provide some help. Yeah, cushioning. Yeah. Right, but you guys know at home what we're talking about. So, but it's just better to make sure, because that can also be a problem too if you're not properly clothed.
Like anything else we do, let's have the proper equipment, let's have the proper awareness of the rules of the road and what those danger zones are, like we talked about, bike paths, share the road with cars, and be aware.
Be aware of your environment. And finally, this is something you brought up, which I think seems so simple and obvious, but knowing the hand signals is huge, right?
I think here in America we don't use a lot of hand signals.
Well, we use the wrong ones, but go ahead.
Yes, that's true. But those are effective too.
Sometimes.
But to allow the person behind you, either a cyclist or a motorist, to know where you're going, right turn, left turn, stop. They're the same hand signals that you learn in driver's ed if your turn signal's not working. So, but that's important too. But I bet you if we went out today on the roads, you wouldn't see too many hand signals.
Yeah. So the key is you came in because you want to give us some good tips, so we don't have to come visit you, right?
Correct. And I think the big thing for motorists and cyclists is that awareness, the right of way. You're a cyclist, you have to follow the rules of the road. As a motorist, you're not looking for a bicyclist, you're looking for a grill and some headlights. We need to be more aware and share the road with our cyclists. cyclist friends.
Great advice, good tips. Hopefully everybody will be nice and safe, and you're going to be busy doing other things, so you don't need anybody else to come in and having more injuries. And for more information, what's your website?
Rushortho.com.
Okay, rushortho.com. Thanks so much. Okay, now you know, Mark Storell, how to be safe.